everybody, welcome back to another episode of Trove. It's been too long, and I gotta tell y'all something real quick. We're gonna do patch notes video today, okay? I got a real quick announcement. I'm gonna shoot for every other day for this series from here on out. First of all, I don't want to get burned out and then get to these points where I feel like I have nothing to say for Trove anymore and can't come back. So that's the main reason, but also the main reason for this little gap, I actually recorded this patch notes video yesterday, and then I was a fool, and I quit OBS before it actually finished writing to disk, and I lost the file, got it corrupted. Nice job, Eddie, nice job. Okay, so today's patch, this week's patch, which happened quite a while ago at this point, if I'm being honest, is all about forging, and that's pretty awesome. Of course, there is some pretty sweet updates to UI as well that aren't too shabby. We're going to talk about all of that. But I already looked into the new forging system quite a bit, and I'm really happy with it, personally. A lot of people were saying that they find it a little too confusing. It wasn't that long ago that I gave my tutorial on the crafting stuff for the way it used to be, and so, you know, I guess maybe I should have waited, but as many of you pointed out in the comments, but you know, here we are. So I need some shards. I'm getting some shards. So we're going to talk about the crafting. So they've added a lot of stuff. The first thing that they've added it's the first thing they've been going for. Is to make it a little bit more progressive rather than random, and that's really important. That's I think it's important for the way Trove works, and it's interesting because my first thought was that you would spend less time grinding. I'm struggling to get the words out here. I said it better last time I recorded, dang it. But think about it like this. If you're rolling a dice until you get a number 6, which is essentially what you were doing when you were forging before, you could very well get a 6 on the first try, walk away, and be like, wow, that was easy. Or you could sit there for an hour and never get a 6. And when you make it progressive like this, you at least know what to expect, and that I like, especially as someone who doesn't dedicate large chunks of time to the game and likes to play in smaller sittings. Just that's my playstyle. So, anyways, I can really work towards something and not have to be like, well, all that time was wasted, and now I have to leave. So, equipment now. Equipment before was all about the stats, all about the numbers. And the numbers were kind of randomized, and then you would get the stars. You would get a forge level, then the star going on, and all that good stuff. And that sort of determined how good it was. And of course, there was your rarity. There was your shadow, your rainbow, your relic, all those good stuff. And that was great, but the new system is sort of more about those levels and about something called a power level. So if we go ahead and I can't do it right now. I'm in the middle of collecting my shards, and today's important because it's the bonus shards day, which is really important because I'm working on rune crafting. So if I hover over my weapon here, you can see it is rainbow, and it has 3 stars next to its name, and that is the power level. So that is a replacement of the forge level, and basically every time I go to the forge and I take some Eyes of Cthulhu and some flux, and I put it on, and I will get another power level, another star, and it will always increase the stats damage. And it goes up to 5, of course. And what happens if we continue on past 5? Well, if we continue on past 5 and we upgrade it again, we will actually turn that from a rainbow item to a shadow item. So no more needing to get lucky in that regard. No more needing to grind until you happen to come across the rarity of gear you want. Now you can upgrade the rarity of gear, but there's a bit of a caveat in the other direction, which is that now when you use the Chaos Forge to randomize what stats are on your equipment, suddenly you can only where is it? Here we go. You can only modify the last 2 out of 4 stat values. So you can see I have 3 stat values on this gun, and you can see that we have stability as the 3rd, and that's the only one that could be changed right now with Chaos Forging. Magic damage and energy regeneration have to stay, which is kind of a bummer, but it means that now instead of grinding out random, hoping to get randomly really good shadow gear, now you can get anything you want into a shadow gear, but now you need to grind until you get gear with the correct kind of stats on it, which I think is going to be a lot more fun, a lot more satisfying to do. And then you can upgrade that gear as you see fit. Now, what happens if you have a shadow level gear that you have gotten to power level 5? What then? Well, you can continue on to shadow levels, which we'll talk about in a second, but you also might want to throw on, that's, you know, theoretically that's kind of like the max, you know, you get your shadow levels and they're upgraded all the way. And that gear is going to be pretty good. It's going to be really good. But if you want to get a little extra boost on it, you can get some asterisks on some stats. Let's see if I happen to have any asterisks on any of these. Yes, I have 1 asterisk on magic damage and 1 asterisk on energy regeneration. Those are bonus stats, which you can get by putting pearls on your weapon, and it'll put an asterisk on a random stat for that weapon. And what it does is it'll give you a 10% boost in what it is. So if you see here, we have 10 asterisk on magic damage. If I go over to magic damage, you can see I have 32%, because across all of my gear and my rings and everything, and all my mastery levels, I've accumulated 32% boost in the magic damage department. So that's how that works, which is really neat. That's another way to get a little boost. Also, it's progressive, right? When you put a pearl on, you're never gonna not, as of a recent hotfix, you're never gonna get a weapon that's worse or even the same. You're always gonna get something that has a boost on it. Great. Okay, shadow levels that I mentioned before, they require different forms of upgrading. So there's an advanced system that I'll show about that I'm working towards right now to get the best possible sword I could possibly have, as well as some other stuff. But let me do this one last dungeon here, and then we'll go check. Oh, there's one right there, though. Ooh, what are we looking at? How are we looking? Got 117. Whoops. Anyways, so the shadow levels, you do use different things to get to them. So they're really expensive to get to. And if you want a gear to get past, you know, level 2 shadow gear, it's gonna take a while for you to get there. But it's gonna be worth it, because it is going to give you a lot of. It's gonna be worth it if you want health or regen or damage on your equipment. But if you're looking for movement speed or jumps and that kind of thing, maybe you have a set of gear that's specifically for building, it actually lowers your chances of getting those. So you actually want to keep it at the lower level shadow levels for that kind of a thing. You only want your fighting gear to be at top tier, which is really interesting that they now sort of differentiate. It's not just like get better and better and better. It's kind of like get better until you shouldn't anymore, because then you're gonna kind of, instead of getting better, you get specialized, which is cool. I like that. Okay, so shadow levels, they go up to 4. So you can continue on to 4 levels past that kind of maxed gear level rank of maximum rarity and that kind of thing. And obviously this is going to be hard to understand without seeing it, but what you should be getting from this is that everything progresses. Everything progresses. Everything you use in a forge and plop on your gear progresses it to some degree, in some fashion. And that's really important, and that is, in my opinion, it's an improvement because I understand what I should be doing, right? I want something on my gear, I'm going to go seek out the materials to make it happen, as opposed to, I want something on my gear, should I go level and find a new piece of gear? Or maybe I should not do that, but instead, you know, try to waste all my eyes and that kind of thing. But anyways, prisms can upgrade rainbow gear to shadow level gear. Let's see. Right, another thing is that when you go to a chaos chest, and I say I want to randomize something, let's take out my gun. I don't actually like that gun. Let's switch classes. Let's go to, does the candy barb have my good stuff on right now? No. I think a boomeranger does, actually. So we can see here I have a shadow level 2 gumball beater. So it's shadow tier, and I've upgraded it all the way. And it's giving me it's giving me 1,000 health, which is a lot, which is great. We have level 2 Beacon of Betrayal, which gives me quite a bit of health, almost 30% extra health, and a shadow level 1 hat. But if I switched to Ice Sage, you can see I have shadow level 3 rod, and that was because we spent a long time upgrading this rod in the past, in the previous version. So that shows you that they actually did convert our previous gear into the new system, which is great. Then we can see we have a rainbow level 10. Or sorry, a rainbow with 1 power level. So if I come over to the forge here, yeah, and you can see that the UI has changed. I can equip it right from here. I don't have to unequip it and then put it in here, which is great. I can upgrade this to, oh, that's the staff. I don't want that. I wanted the hat. No, I wanted, yeah, the hat. You can see I spend some flux rather, and I can see what I have here, and I can choose whether or not I want to upgrade it. And matter of fact, I think I do. I'm saving actually flux for a trade, so I probably shouldn't do that too much. But then if I come over here and I say, okay, I want to randomize that staff and make it a little better, you can see, so it'll randomize the 3rd and 4th stat. So that would be the jumps and the movement speed, which I actually don't want to do. Let's look at the face. Okay, I only have 3 on there, so it would only change the magical damage, which I also don't want to do. Jumps and the movement speed again. Okay, so really I don't want to do this, but you can see it doesn't give me a preview like it used to. It used to give me a preview. Well, okay, what used to happen is you would spend the resources, and then then it would tell you what the outcome was, and it would say, do you want to lock in or not? You can't do that anymore. You're stuck with it. You got to live with it, which is cool. There's been some changes to rings that are pretty minor. Basically, they have a different way of converting their stats over, or the rings you get are of always power level 5, but they still follow the shadow ranking and that kind of thing, and you can't upgrade them. As far as I know, you can't upgrade them to anything. Here's one thing I'm confused about. I don't have any prisms. Oh, well, let's see. If we put this on in the advanced forge, that's where you use your pearls, and that's where you use your tomes. You can't upgrade it with flux. And I don't know where you spend prisms. I'm wondering if that's just because I don't have any prisms or something, but I don't know where you use prisms, but they do have an effect, so I'm just not sure. Maybe you have to put a rainbow item in there, except I think that is a rainbow item. This hat is a rainbow item. Yeah, it is. I don't know. But anyways, so oh, man, I wish I could show you guys this. This is not a very good overview, but that is pretty much it. It's basically we have these 3 tables that do similar things to what they did before, but they're not exactly the same. And what you're aiming for is higher and higher power levels until, matter of fact, let me just do this. So power level, power level, power level. Oh, and then I need the prism. Do I have one? To get it to shadow. That could have just been a huge waste. I don't. That was a big waste of flux. Okay, so I shouldn't have done that. So you still do need to find power levels. You still do need to find shadow items, without a doubt, because unless you want to spend your prisms, or else you're going to be stuck with non-shadow items forever, which is kind of what I just did. I mean, it's not bad. I got a lot of bonuses on there, and it's giving quite a bit of health, and yeah, but it's not, I probably would have preferred to have a shadow item. So that was a mistake, but that's okay. I didn't realize that that's how that worked. So now let's say I wanted to randomize the stats, the jumps and the movement speed. I could come over here and I could spend 10 flux and a tentacle to do it. I won't do it because it's just a rainbow thing. But that is how that works. It's just going to randomize these two stats into two new kinds of stats. But I'm going to leave that as it is. And then in the advanced forged I could add another stat to it, except I can't because it already has 4, but if it had 3 I could, and I could also reduce the level required to wield it. Per usual, that is the same, but basically if I were to put in here, let's do this, let's just do this. Okay, this is going to cost a lot of flux and a lot of eyes, but we're going to do it. I'm going to upgrade my staff one more time. So you can see that now I need 2 thrice forced shadow soul, and see how I get these? I have to deconstruct level 3 shadow equipment, so I have to get other equipment that I don't plan on using up to this level by forging it over and over again, and then deconstruct it to get it. And if I brought out my, I think, neon ninja, no, sorry, my boomeranger, and I went here and I showed you how to get this level 2, I need a twice forged shadow soul, which I get from deconstructing other level 2 shadow equipments. And then to get to level 2 shadow equipment, you only need a lot of eyes and a lot of flux. So, or maybe you need a tentacle or something. So it's not actually, and the music enters. It's not actually it's not actually that hard to get it up to. If you have a shadow item already, it's not hard to get it to a level 2 shadow item. It's a little expensive, but it's not hard. And then you have to go through 2 other items through the same process of getting up to that rank, just so that you can advance to level 3, or shadow level 3. So that is intense, and that's going to take a while, but it gives you more control, it gives you more flow. If I didn't, it gives you you will never accidentally ruin your good gear because you were trying to make it better. You will never spend a long time grinding resources only to realize that you didn't actually make an improvement on anything you're wielding. So at least now I can say I'm doing a live stream and I'm grinding out a bunch of flux and a bunch of shadow gear so that I can get the twice forged thing and up my staff, and I can know that every minute I'm playing Trove I'm actually moving towards that goal, and that's why I think it's better, even if it is a little bit more confusing. Now before I call it for today, and I'm sorry if that was a bad demonstration, I think I understand the system fully, so if you have any questions make sure to post them down in the comments and I'll get to them. Alright everybody, hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna go get me some of these piñatas, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.